Hey, N.A.R.C troopers. I thought I would use this opportunity to tell you that I'm in my car outside of a supermarket, and we're gonna go through a panic attack together, a little anxiety attack, because at the moment I'm having one of those, and I wanted to kind of walk through this thing with you to kind of tell you what I do when that happens and how I'm feeling. I have clonodiazepam, which is benzodiazepam panic attack prescription med that I just took. And so what happens is sometimes there's a trigger. Today, I think the trigger was that I played some classical music for my students while they were writing and practicing for their ACT, and so I think that listening to that all day, I know I've had a hard time listening to music. It has been sort of a trigger for me, and so I think that's what happened today. Maybe the frustration of trying to get in touch with people on the phone about ketamine. During my lunch break, I tried to call them. I tried to get information about ketamine infusion therapy. It's like an IV of medication you take 6 different times over a period of 2 weeks. It's for complex PTSD, which is what I have. So, when you have a panic attack, I guess those of you who have trouble with anxiety know that it's difficult to breathe. You feel panicked. You feel like you're dying. You feel hopeless. You feel despair. You feel an overwhelming sense of dread and like an unmanageability of yourself and your life and your environment. I can't get out of the car right now to go in the supermarket because not only am I having trouble getting my breath, my heart is beating really fast, and I'm waiting for my Klonopin to kick in, which is my benzodiazepam medicine for anxiety. It is supposed to work in 7 to 8 minutes. So we're waiting for that to happen, and we're doing this together. This is February. Today is February 7th or 8th. And the discard happened with my narcissist ex June 18th. So I'm rapidly approaching next week the 8-month mark, which would be alarming for some of you to think, oh my gosh, this woman's still having anxiety almost 8 months out. And it's true, I am having that. It's rare. It doesn't happen too often. I got the price for the ketamine. I wish I could bill him for it. Seems like he should pay for it in light of everything, right? It's $450 per treatment, and you have to have 6. Do the math. 450 times 6. That's the going rate. I called several different places. Insurance doesn't cover it. It's supposed to be transformative for people who are having suicidal ideation, people with complex PTSD, people with severe depression that cannot be cured by traditional methods. So I'm really interested in getting the ketamine so that I can wean myself off of the Klonopin. I don't feel like that's a long-term solution. I would like to get a treatment that can remap my brain. That's what ketamine does. It remaps your whole brain and all the neurotransmitters so that whatever trauma patterns or memories or things that are stuck in there that torment you and torture you are gone. So it's hopeful. That's a little bit of hope that I'm feeling today, is that if I could just get that ketamine, and if I could just afford to do that somehow, that maybe I could feel better and stop having these feelings, which, those of you who have it know that this is not a good feeling. So I'm in my car and I'm waiting for this Klonopin to kick in. I'm starting to feel a little calmer. I was driving when it hit me, and I started talking to myself. I turned on Angie Atkinson. She has a podcast about, it's called Betrayal Trauma Recovery, BTR. I really like it a lot, and I think that calmed me down enough just to get here to the parking lot safely. Oh. So when you have one of these panic episodes, there's just so many things you can do besides taking drugs. Sometimes I do tapping. Yeah, the tapping on the different, meridians. You tap on the different meridians, and that can bring you back. I couldn't tap because I was driving. Once I parked, that was the first thing I did, was the tapping. I think it's EFT is what it's called. It's a small tool, but it's something, right? Meditating, counting, doing the 4-square technique, where you look at something. I looked at my cell phone and I traced the patterns of the corners of the cell phone over and over, and then I went back. Somehow that's supposed to hijack your brain and interrupt your whatever thing that's happening to you. It interrupts that brain pattern so that you can calm down. The 4-square thing is a thing. Sometimes I map out streets, and I'll start at my house and I'll say, I'm starting on Royal Road or Jenny Avenue, and I'm going up to Tekla, and I'm going to turn right, and that's Deborah's house on my right, and she's got flower pots out for her spring planting. And then I'm going to make a quick left, and it's going to be Emil, and it goes past Harmony, and I'm going to head towards Olson Park School, and I'm going to drive by the playground, and you just talk out loud as you're just visualizing that map in your mind. And that's also something called a pattern interrupt. Pattern interrupt is what it's called, because it interrupts the pattern of your brain. And what we're talking about here a lot of times with anxiety and these panic attacks is that your brain is just hijacking your whole body. And some body follows brain, brain follows body. It's all is one big cluster, mess. And so doing the pattern interrupt is something that you can do. And so, like the things that I just described to you, there's a million of them, different things that you do when your brain starts misbehaving and you start feeling like you might be dying. So odd little sidebar, I have never had an anxiety attack in my whole life, not one, until June of 2019, when I was summarily discharged over a matter of minutes after 15 years almost of marriage, wedded bliss and hell, and then bliss and hell, and bliss and hell. And that's intermittent reinforcement trauma bonding stuff right there, which we won't get into. But yes, there's a lot of tools that can help you through these things. And at some point, like maybe the ketamine is the answer, maybe it's the Klonopin, maybe my mother-in-law says just pray your way out of it. And yeah, I do pray, and still I need the medicine, and I do pray all the time. I've prayed so many times today already, and for hope and faith and strength to hold on to those two things. But sometimes you got to have other tools, and that's my message for this podcast, this vlog today, is to tell you sometimes you have to have more tools besides just that. You got to have a whole arsenal of tools to attack this, to survive it, because I want everybody to survive. I really want that for all of you, that you're gonna get strong and get healthy and have wellness and hope and faith and happiness, and that we're all gonna survive this. no matter how crazy it seems or how hard it seems. We have to survive this, right? And I believe that we can. We just have to access whatever tools that we can, and we have to keep going. I looked at my phone and thought, who can I call to hear a voice on the other line? And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to talk to my N.A.R.C troopers, because maybe they're going through the same thing. Maybe it's been more than 8 months for them, and they're still going through the same thing. We're all a work in progress, right? So keep the faith, guys, and stay strong. I'm feeling better. I'm going to go in that grocery store and get myself some food. Take care. We're going to all get through this. Yes, I'm better now. Medicine's working. Tools have worked. Intermittent reinforcement, tapping, all of it. Yep, pattern interrupt. Research it. Get yourself some tools. And I'll see you soon. Bye.